It's been an incredible week, and we finished pretty late last night with our home show, and I think I got about 2 good days left in me that I'm going to have to be done. I'm wore out. I know you guys are too, but we appreciate y'all being here. We appreciate you joining us on our Facebook page, our Wood County Junior Livestock Show Facebook page. If you can't be here, you have family or friends that want to watch. We've had people texting us from all over the state of Texas this week, watching our young people compete here in Wood County. It's pretty close to game time, but before we do that, we've been able this year, we're so lucky to have our large screen here, and so I think it's important that we start our morning off honoring our country with the playing of our national anthem. Gentlemen, if you would, remove your hats, and let's all stand and honor our country, please. Thank you very much for that. What a great way to start out our morning. Day 4 here, Wood County Junior Livestock Show. It's the Origin Banks Market Lamb Show. We're going to get started as we have Class 1 coming in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce our lamb judge. And I don't have a bio on him up here, but I don't think I need one. I consider him a friend, and he and I kind of mirror each other in our careers. He recently retired from Meridian and as a high school ag teacher, spent a couple of years sitting out, enjoying the retirement life. But he's always had his hand in the land and goat business. His kids have shown, personally, his own kids have shown. He's had plenty of students with success throughout the years as majors. And he still lives in Meridian, but he's been convinced that we need him back in the industry, and he's back teaching again. So if you would, put your hands together and welcome Mr. Mike Gann, Meridian, Texas. This is Class 1 market lambs. We have 3 entries. Lambs weigh 84 to 108 pounds.
Echoing, but maybe it's just maybe that phone. Dragon. Got my shorts on today. I'm doing a little comfortable. I'm always going to do it again.
Long way away.
I think he's supposed to be back. I can hear both.
Good morning, and certainly it's a pleasure to be over in Wood County this morning and work with your young people and evaluate your lambs and then a little bit, I guess, the goats. What a good way to get started here in Class 1 with our lamb show. And I tell you, there's a pair at the top that muscle's not an issue. You get your hands on those, they're square made from end to end. They're powerful when you get off behind them and at that 3/4. Whenever we have to sort that pair, I think the one that ends up leading us all, that's the one that's just a little bit truer in terms of that body shape and being a little shallower there through that chest plate, the chest floor. That one's a bit more extended up through his front end. If you wanted to use a little more power and give up a little bit of look, certainly you could flip that pair. But for me, the one that winds up in 2, we just got to stretch that guy out a bit there from flank to flank, shallow him up in there in his chest floor to run at that class winner. One that winds up in 3 is a little bit lighter in terms of muscularity. Certainly one that you can appreciate. That one is a bit more elevated there at the point of shoulder. That one's correct in terms of rib shape and design. We just got to have a little more punch and stay a little more connected or level there as we ask that one to go. Great class to start us. Congratulate them if you will.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gann. Our Origins Bank class winners. Class 1, 3rd place, Ikea Comier from Winsboro FFA. 2nd place, Jackson Wernicke, Mineola FFA. And your class winner is Luke Wernicke, also from the Mineola FFA. Now ready for Class 2. We have 3 lambs weighing 119 to 128 pounds.
Step forward.
Second class, very interesting trio here to sort, and certainly a trio that you can shuffle any direction. if you were correct at the end of the day. One I choose to lead with, maybe we could stouten that one up a little bit there at the ground, but when we study that one, that's the one that stays the most collected down its top line. That one offers the most elevation at the point of the shoulder, balances up the best from the side. You know, whenever you really get on that one, could we have a little more punch right over that loin? Certainly, we absolutely could, but I think that's the one that balances up and stays together. I appreciate that one to lead us off. The one that comes in two is another really tall-shouldered, really extended up through its front end. Study that one a little longer through its blade, not quite as correct in terms of squareness out the top side of that hip, but another very attractive one that is a little stouter there at the ground than our class winner. One that winds up in three, again, dead level down its top, neat and tidy up through that front end. You get off to the side, that one doesn't balance up. We're deeper through our chest than we are through our flank line. That one's a little rougher in terms of construction there over that loin edge. But again, nice trio. Certainly we could shake them up any direction. Congratulations.
Class 2. Third place, Chloe Cooper from the Quitman FFA. Second place, also Chloe Cooper from the Quitman FFA, and your Origins Bank class winner is Hadley Gilbreth from the Winsboro FFA. Appreciate our ring help there. Hey, listen, let's do this real quick as we get ready for Class 3. You've seen some red shirts and some, I guess, highlighter shirts, as they've called it, throughout the week. It says event staff. These young people are from our different schools this week, and they've helped us in the ring. They've helped us picking up trash. They've just worked their tails off. If you would, put your hands together for our event staff and our junior board and the job they've done this week. And that's the behind-the-scenes stuff that that we need to make this show successful, and I appreciate all their efforts. In the ring, we have Class 3, 3 entries. Lambs weighing 134 to 144 pounds.
Head to tail, guys. Head to tail.
a class with 3 that are different in terms of types and kinds, and 3 that are different in terms of where we are in relation to the condition and the muscularity, and certainly some differences there in stoutness at the ground. And so we weighed everything out. Maybe it took a little longer on this trio than we did the previous one, because I think they were so different, but at the same time so close in terms of how we put them together. The blue sheep that leads us off, that one just ends up doing that, being tall at the point of the shoulder, neat and elegant up through that front end. That one's big and square and massive right there over those blades, gets bigger over that loin. This one is the biggest and boldest in terms of pin set and upper hip. Study that one. That's the lightest in terms of bone work. That one needs to be a little shallower in that chest to balance up with that underline. So that's certainly the areas we'd change that one. The one that is stouter at the ground winds up in 2, but you study this one. We're not quite as clean out of that chest plate. We're a little bit juicier in terms of condition over those ribs, but another one, dead level down its top, has a lot of muscle, handles a bit rounder and softer comparatively there to that class winner in this particular class. And then we get into one here in 3, dead level down its top, another elevated one, another extended one, another one that just gets deeper and rounder through that front end, a little bit shorter there from flank to flank, one that's a little rounder made in terms of that hip construction, but this one's really wide based and really stout at the ground. Very close trio of sheep, fun to sort through and pick them apart. Congratulations.
Your Origins Bank Class 3 winners: 3rd place, Brooklyn Campbell, Equipment FFA. 2nd place, Caitlin Shelton, Hawkins FFA. And 1st place is Layla Kelly from the Mineola FFA. We're now ready for Class 4. We have 5 animals weighing 151 to 154 pounds. Again, if you just joined us live on our Facebook page and watching from home, we're evaluating our market lambs. Mr. Mike Gann from Meridian, Texas is our judge. Appreciating him being here this morning to evaluate our young people and our animals. He will also join us after this. He'll be judging our goat show right after our market lamb show. We will have the order of the show order is going to be, we'll place our classes, then we will select our sale order and follow that up with our junior, intermediate, and senior showmanship. Just so you know, when we get to our sale order, we will be selecting 15 animals for our sale of champions on Friday at 6 o'clock. Now, we'll also select some alternates just in case, you know, there's different things that could happen. Students selling other species, a number of things that could double entries. So We'll select more than 15 for some alternates. We'll have our sale order right after the placing of our classes.
Competitive class, close calls as we work our way down through the lineup. Really easy one to find here to lead us off. That's the one that's stout at the ground, got those added bells and whistles in terms of bone and foot size and shag down there. Get your hands on that one. That's the most correct in terms of condition. That's the squarest made from end to end. That one props up really nice and collected in terms of those lines that we offer. When we let that one go into motion, that one wants to come down in its front a bit, maybe could be a little better in terms of how he comes out of that chest plate, but that's a neat one there to get us started. Really close here between 2 and 3. You study these. We've got one that's maybe a little flatter in terms of body shape and rib design, but a little bolder in terms of muscularity down its top. Stays a bit more collected whether we're propped up or in motion, versus one that is a little longer, one that's a little rounder in terms of body that just kind of falls apart a bit in comparison there through its front end. So we went ahead and used the blue sheep there, just staying together, and gave up that little bit of body. The one that winds up there in 4, another one really level down its top, handle soft compared to the 3 that are above. When we analyze this one again, we want to be a little deeper or through our rib plate there, or a little longer through our blade. That one just needs to balance up a little. I think that one's square made, just handling soft here today. One that comes in next, just a little frailer there at the ground. Another one that's elevated. We stay level. Get your hands on that one. There's not as much product as the ones that are above. Really good class. Congratulate them if you will.
Class 4, 5th place, Caden Hippie, Alba Golden. 4th place, Brooklyn Campbell, Quitman. 3rd place, Eli Calixto, Mineola. 2nd place, Sandra Martinez from Mineola. And your Origins Banks class winners, Andrew Perkins from Winsboro. We're now ready for Class 5. We have 4 entries. Lambs weighing 156 to 159.
Really good class again, as we said, and I think a pair that lead us off that you have to sort and really study on a little bit between those two. The one that I lead off with, that one's a little more exposed through that chest plate and front side of that shoulder. But you study that one. We're stout at the ground. We've got some elevation, stay level down our top. I think we balance up. We're a little deeper through our chest, but we stay together and collected in our lines really good there. So we're going to go ahead and use that one to win. The blue sheep that winds up in two is a little cleaner made through its front end. That one has that added extension and elevation there at the point of the shoulder and out through that neck. Love the touch and handle this one has over its rack. We get back through that loin and hip. We just want to give a little bit. I'd like to see that one continue to stay a bit wider as it transitions down its top side. Love the stoutness. I love that one there at the ground. One that comes in next, just a little plainer package, a little shorter from flank to flank, shorter down its spine. And you study one that's just a little lighter in terms of bone work. You get past that, that one's really level down its top. He ties together on the top side of his skeleton extremely good. Lots of product in that lamb, just handling a bit softer than the two that are above. One that winds out our class, another one we appreciate in terms of being wide at the ground. That one's level down its top, handles with some squareness over its rack, and then we kind of run out of gas when we get right behind that one or off at the 3/4. Really good class. Again, congratulate these kiddos.
Class 5 Market Lambs, 4th place, Bryson Calderote, Quitman FFA. 3rd place, Andrew Perkins, Winsboro FFA. 2nd place, Kayla Williams from the Hawkins FFA. And your class winner is Caney Weeks from Winsboro FFA. Now ready for Class 6. Lambs weighing 161 to 169 pounds.
really strong class from end to end, and I tell you, it broke down into a trio on the top and then the lower trio there to sort through among themselves, I think, to find how we were going to get this one done. I think the one that leads us all, if you study that one just stays correct and true down its top side. I like the body shape in that one. I like this one super opened up and stout there at the ground. Maybe could tie together just a little bit better there through its front end, but you like the touch in that one, like the hip shape and design. One that does tie together a little better just in terms of how that neck ties in on the top side, one that's super smooth in terms of how that shoulder lays on the side of that cage is the one that follows. If that one could just stay a little truer down its top line, handle a bit better over that loin edge, maybe we could shallow that one up to run at that class winner. Very competitive pair there because where one's good, that's where the hole is in the other one. So a nice pair there. Congratulations to those two kiddos. Really dig the one that's in third. You talk about one that's elevated, dead level, square made, really stout. That one does a lot of good things, but you get your hands on that one. We're a little bit rawer in terms of condition. We're a little off in terms of how that edge handles for me there today. That one been a little bit further along in muscularity, further along in condition. Certainly we run this one up a place or two because I think that one's made extremely good. One that comes in next, just a plainer package. You study that one stays up in 4 ahead of the others because that one handles with some squareness and thickness down its top, transitions well into that loin and hip. But when we analyze that one against the others, that one's a little smaller statured, a little plainer and rounder up through that front end, but certainly a product-oriented lamb you can like a lot of things about. Similar story for the one that comes in next. This one's given up a little foot and bone, a little bit of attractiveness, but another one that's square with some handle over that rack. This one needs to stay together and stay collected a bit better when we ask it to go. Very product-oriented sheep. So one that comes in next, there's a lot of muscularity in that sheep. We study that one. Again, another one that's a little bit moderate, doesn't tie together quite as good through its front. Ultimately, for me, that one's carrying a little bit too much condition for this stage of the game. Great class. Congratulations.
Class 6. Winners, 6th place, Camo Jasper Hawkins FFA. 5th place, Kenzie Garrigus from the Mineola FFA. 4th place, Connor Barnhart, Winsboro FFA. 3rd place, Brindley Rock, Quitman FFA. 2nd place, Kaylee Frazier, Hawkins FFA. And 1st place is Brooke Burson from the Winsboro FFA. We're now ready for Class 7. This will be our last class. These lambs weigh 172 to 180 pounds. And then we'll have our selection of our overall champion, our grand champion, and reserve champion, followed by a sale order. So we're going to need all of our lambs. Make sure you're still around this area so we can do our sale order pretty quick. If you get a chance to, I don't know if you can see me up here, and I don't know, can we get it? Oh, look here, we can get it on Facebook Live. There we go. We got our cups, our Wood County Junior Livestock Show cups for sale. $20 a piece for our cups. If you want one, you can pick them up over just across the way here from the arena from a concession stand. We still got plenty of those left. $20 for our Wood County Junior Livestock Show cups. This is the 2025 edition. I still have one from last year. It was blue and use it quite often. So good cups that you can enjoy. We're on our last class of market lambs. After that, we'll have selection of our grand champion, Origins Bank grand champion, and reserve champion market lamb. As Mr. Gann evaluates our last class of market lambs, another infomercial for you. We've been selling raffle tickets for Wood County Junior Livestock Show. You can still get those raffle tickets over, I think, over in the concession area, the office there, $50 ticket, and I'll pause and let Mr. Gann talk this class.
Good class of heavyweights, and certainly a few of them showing a little maturity and a little bit of condition at this stage of the game. I think we've got a very competitive pair at the top end of this one. Young lady brings us one that's just really rugged at the ground and opened up in terms of base width. I think that one's just overpowering the class in terms of squareness and muscle and being correct in terms of condition. Maybe that one's showing a little maturity there through that chest plate, but that one propped up and in motion. Either way, I like that one a good deal to go ahead and win. Like the stoutness and the shaggy legs and the elevation, I think the one that winds up in second, maybe that one is a little bit more up and out, maybe a little smoother in terms of front end construction. Looks the part. Love that profile when we're off at the side. When you analyze that one, maybe not quite as tidy or correct in how that loin ties in. We want to fall off those edges ever so slightly. We run out of punch when we get right behind that one compared to the one that's ahead. So that's a really interesting pair to sort right up there at the top. One that's not always cooperating winds up here in 3. Young lady did a good job sticking with it. Kind of showed her way up by not giving up. I tell you, that one ties together really smooth through its front end. That one's square made down its top. Gets a little rounder in terms of construction out of that hip. Maybe handles just a little softer in comparison to the 2 that are above. One that's just a little straighter on both ends comes in next. When we analyze that one, I'd like to give that one just a little better angle up through that shoulder and front end. Tie that one together a little smoother in terms of chest plate. That one's a little deeper and plainer in terms of side when you get off to the side. However, you get your hands on that one. You like the muscularity, you like the smoothness that one transitions with down its top. One that comes in next, another one from the shoulder back that handles really good. I tell you, you get your hands on his ribs, though. That's where that one wants to get a little squishy. Another one that's a little straighter shouldered, not quite as correct in terms of that front end construction. Kind of wants to get those rear 2 underneath when we ask that one to go. One that comes in next, really good bodied, really stout featured. I like the elevation. This one's just a little lazy for me in terms of that top side when we ask it to go. Doesn't balance up quite as good from the side, but ultimately for me, the deciding factor is the hip and hind leg and construction in that one compared to the rest of the class. We got to give that one a little more flex in its hocks, let it stay a little leveler in that hip. Good class from top to bottom. Congratulations to each of these kiddos.
Thank you, Mr. Gann. Your Origin Bank Class 7 winners. 6th place, Clara Marlowe, Mineola FFA. 5th place, Wesley Davis, Winsboro FFA. 4th place, Sierra Barnhart, Winsboro FFA. 3rd place, Cadence Winkle, Wood County 4-H. 2nd place, Leighton Stout from the Winsboro FFA. And your class winner is Kayla Williams, the Hawkins FFA. So to our superintendents, real quick, y'all hold up just a second. This is what, go ahead and tell them. Y'all follow the judge, all first class winners. We're gonna set this up, we're gonna have our grand drive, but we're also gonna set it up for our sale order too. right, so what he wants to do, you guys should see the pattern there now. We need our second places, all second place. You're going to line up behind them just like that in a profile. Okay, I need everybody to listen. We need to bring all second place lambs in the ring. We're going to have every lamb in here in just a second. So the quicker we do this, class 1, we need class 2. Line up just like.
We got to do a grand drive, don't we? Yes. Okay, so we got ahead of ourselves because we was thinking alike. That's right. But we got to do this for the grand drive anyway. Yes. So we need them to stay right where they are, right?
You just want to bring our second place.
Yeah, bring your second. And then we'll do a grand drive since we nearly messed up. But they're not moving. They're staying right there.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring second place in because they'll be in consideration for our reserve champion. All second place. We need class 2. I want you to line up just like our class winners did. Class 2. We got ahead of ourselves just a little bit, and we're going to be okay. So that's our class 1 and class 2. We're going to stop right there and have our grand and reserve drive. Now, the rest of you, once we select our grand champion, we need everybody to stay put in the ring, and we'll start our sale order from there. So once we have our grand and reserve selection, everyone stay put. If you just walked up or joined us on our Facebook page, Mr. Mike Gann from Meridian, Texas is selecting our grand champion market lamb. We have 7 class winners that are in consideration for grand champion. And once we select our champion, then we'll pull the second place in consideration for our reserve champion. While he's doing that, I was just reminded that we have the raffle tickets available. You can get them at the office over there, $50 a piece. That money goes to the scholarship fund. And as I look down here, you have the opportunity to win a zero-turn lawnmower, Beaver's Bend trip, $1,000 value, designer bag, turtle box, Cabiner's boot certificate, cooler, Apple device package, concrete feed trough, his and her sunglasses, a griddle. These are the awards that we'll have a drawing for. $50, we do have some tickets left, and again, that money goes to our scholarship fund.
Tell you, a really high quality lamb show from top to bottom. We got our first and seconds back out here. We went ahead and squished them toward the front just a little bit because that's going to make us be more efficient as we bring the others in for selection of sale orders. So we're a little more on top of you than sometimes here, but that'll just make the process go a bit better as we roll through. But you know, we get rolling on this thing, and certainly they're not cookie cutter mold, and you know, that happens a lot at a county fair. We find the one that we like best in each class and bring that one forward in each of those classes as we work through. lots of good things for all of them there, just in terms of high quality animals that are being well presented. Lots of muscle, lots of look. Some have a little more of one or the other, and that's okay. I tell you, there's 4 or 5 of these things that suit me really, really good, just in terms of what those complete ones should look like, in terms of foot and bone and that added shag and being opened up at the ground and opened up through their body. Really big in terms of top shape, big when you get off behind them into the 3/4, and still have some look and some elevation through their front. Certainly there's not a perfect one. I've been at it a long time and never seen that perfect one. Someday maybe we will, but I tell you, there's one that just overpowers the group in terms of muscularity, stoutness, and wit. The heavy's going to be your champion. Congratulations.
Your Origins Banks Grand Champion is out of Class 7, Kayla Williams from the Hawkins FFA. And we'll bring our second place in contention for reserve.
I tell you, I don't talk all of them in the drive. I think everybody probably heard enough of my voice talking about sheep, but they deserve a little bit of credit, just knowing kind of those other 3 or 4 that were very competitive and close in terms of that champion drive. And I tell you, that would be these 4 that are out of these heavier classes, just in terms of some elevation and some look, some stoutness, having a good touch and a good handle. I think we could land on any of those 4 and be convinced at the end of the day that was the right one to follow up that champion. But I think there's one that's just a little bolder in terms of stifle shape, a little bigger and square in terms of pin set, maybe wasn't quite as square over that loin as our champion. Young lady out of the next to last class is the second best. Congratulations.
Out of Class 6, Brooke Burson from the Winsboro FFA will be your reserve champion. All right.
If you're out here, stay planted. We're going to bring the rest of them in and do sale order. Right, Mr. Reynolds?
All right, here's what we need to do. We've kind of got a line here, so we need to bring our third places in and form a line.
close to him. Go over and be close to him.
Third place comes out of Class 7. That's Leighton Stout. I missed our fourth place. I'll just get them in a minute. We'll get the official order in just a second. I don't want to do something wrong. Again, anything I say up here is unofficial. We've said that throughout the week. They've got the official down there. All right, put your hands together. That completes our sale order for our market lambs. Thank you, Mr. Gann, for the work you've done and handled that. Now, it's time for our showmanship competition. We'll have our juniors come in. Our juniors are grades 3 through 5. I'll get the sale order for you in just a little bit and announce that. And we'll probably call out the top 25. And remember, we sell 15. But we had some alternates in there, and so junior showmanship, grades 3 through 5. You need to be at the gate, followed by intermediates, 6 through 8, and then our senior. Last call for our junior showman. We need you at the gate at this time. We're about to bring them in. We'll lock the gates. All right, junior showmanship. Intermediates need to be lined up at the gate at this time. Intermediate showmanship. If you're going to participate in the showmanship, you need to be at the gate at this time.
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. We're all set up there on the fence post.
Two really good junior showmen, and I tell you, they come in, they hit the ring with that look like they came in to win this deal, and certainly the correct amount of intensity out of both of them, in my opinion. I think we walk them down the rail and get them propped up on the butt view. Maybe that's where one of these kiddos had the advantage, just being a little more efficient and getting it propped up and giving me a better handle. Then we get them in motion. Possibly that same individual was a little smoother and a little better on the walk. Then we get over on the profile. Then we flip back to the other one that's a bit more efficient and just getting it propped up and getting legs in position. Ultimately, you know, there was a few mistakes there by both of them, and at times we get a look with legs out of place. I think there's one that whenever we have to decide with the other two or three things being involved, I think there's one that just in terms of keeping the head and neck straighter up out of the top side, even though we're losing it a little, gave me a better touch every time we went in to handle. Young man to my right will be our champion. Congratulations.
Your champion junior showman is Jackson Wernicke from the Mineola FFA. Congratulations. All right, as soon as we get that ring clear, we'll have our intermediate showman Again, grades 6 through 8. Once we get the intermediates in, we're going to need our seniors lined up at the gate, ready to go. I believe our official start time for our goat show was 10 o'clock. Again, our game time right now is 10:07, so we're not behind schedule. We got plenty of time, but we'll start our goat show right after. We may give Mr. Gann just an opportunity to have a little quick break, but we'll start our goat show right after we select our senior showman.
really good class of intermediates, and a lot of good things going on, and I think we're going to improve with everybody just by being in the ring that one more time. And you know, we kind of a little rough coming in. We had a large group, so certainly we just offset the initial walk-in. So if that's where you excelled, I'm sorry it didn't count. And if that's where you were uncomfortable, you got a break because it didn't count. We took off after that. We got a good handle. We moved around the ring. We've got a front view a time or two. You know, I think the 5 that I pulled to the center maybe just slightly better than the others that were left against the rail. And when we analyze them, certainly some are a little more comfortable. Some give me a little bit better look on profile. Some certainly give me a little better handle. And so it's kind of a wash or tougher to sort out, I guess I should say. You know, and like some of the classes, what are we going to lock into just a little more, and what are we going to live with as far as letting it go? I'll tell you this, I gave all 5 of you the chance to win it with an offside to walk, and none of you did it. Oops. But the good news is for you, all 5 of you, nobody did it, so everybody's still in the hunt, right? But that could have been a deciding factor for me because it was so close between all of you. I tell you, I think there's one that just in terms of keeping feet and legs in the right place, comfortable on the front end, maybe just a little bit sluggish, you know, on our first offside front view. But the young lady right here in stripes with the big sheet, congratulations.
All right, our grand champion intermediate showman is Kayla Williams. Congratulations, Kayla. You guys helped me out. I'm trying to find it. Kayla is from Hawkins FFA. I thought so. Just want to make sure that's correct. Congratulations. All right, it's now time for our senior showman. As soon as we get our ring clear. Just checking the weather. We talked a little bit about our contingency plans on weather yesterday. Looks like we may have a little rain, but at this point we don't have anything like thunderstorms or any severe weather at this point. So we're going to continue with our shows. We will suggest that once we finish our senior showmanship that you lamb exhibitors, once they kind of get cleared out, come on over and get under the barn so we have you over here and not trying to get you across, and if we get any kind of heavy rains here in the next short time. So, goat exhibitors, did I say something different? Well, we don't want to do the lamb show again, do we, Mike? Let's move on to the goats. Yeah, I just want to make sure you place them the same way. Speaking of that, I have our lamb sale order. Again, very, very unofficial. Unofficial. Anything I say up here is unofficial. But our grand champion in sale order number 1 was Kayla Williams. Reserve champion, Brooke Burson. That'll be sale order number 2. 3rd place, Leighton Stout. 4th place, Andrew Perkins. 5th place, Kaylee Frazier. 6th place, Katie Weeks. 7th place, Luke Wernicke. 8th place, Brindley Rock. 9th place, Hadley Gilbreth. 10th place, it is Andrew Perkins, but just so we know, that's a double entry, so our alternates will pull up. 11th place, Layla Kelly. 12th place, Jackson Wernicke. 13th, Sandra Martinez. 14th, Eli Calixto. 15th, Caitlin Shelton. And again, unofficial, our alternate, which I believe would move up just because we have a double entry that we will have to pull out one, will be Connor Barnhart. You will actually sell in the 15th hole. Our next alternate is Cadence Winkle. third alternate is Brooklyn Campbell, and our fourth alternate is Sierra Barnhart. We do have an official list up here, and that will be posted a little bit later on.
I think Showworks does that all for them, I think.
Guess the last time I'm on the mic for the Lamb Show, and certainly it's been a pleasure to work through the Sheep Show and announce the grand and the sale order. And I tell you, we had a really competitive Class 1 of our market show, and we're going to end it up with just a phenomenal set of senior showmen. And I pulled the 4 out, and you'll notice this time I propped those guys up on profile back down the middle, because that's a killer look right there, boys and girls. I tell you what, we've got them up in their fronts. We got hands in good places. We're straight out of our spine. We're keeping them collected and squared up. When I go on top of these, I get a good touch. I get a good handle. These 3 kiddos were smooth on our offside walk over here and stayed together. It's never easy, and it's unexpected. I told them it was coming if they were listening in the intermediate, gave them another chance. I think a pair of them got that done. But, you know, whenever you just talk about getting it done at whatever level, county, San Antonio, Houston, wherever we go, Sunday jackpots, You got to get a good handle on the butt view. You've got to get that killer look out of your animal. We don't need them dancing around. We need them planted. We need them pretty and attractive, because the judge may or may not handle them again once we get on that angle. So anyway, that's kind of what pulled these four to the top. And then I think it gets extremely competitive between a pair of them. But if you'll give all the sheep exhibitors all day long a big round of applause one more time, I'm going to take a look and find a champion.
Cannon, y'all get a name here. Say again. Your champion, senior showman, is Leighton Stout. Congratulations, Leighton. Well, that concludes our lamb show. If you would, put your hands together. He's going to stay with us, but thank Mr. Mike Gann. Done an outstanding job evaluating our sheep today. We're going to check on him and see if he needs a break. He says let's roll, so we're going to move right into our market goat show. And so we're going to be ready here. Let me make sure I got all my paperwork, and then we'll get Class 1 ready to go. You ready? You got it? I don't know if I have it. I do. I've been here, when I was eating, but even working up here, hey, the chicken show was stupid. Yeah. Oh, and the beef was stupid. All right. Okay, we're going to move right into our goat show. Trying to be efficient with these weather around us today. We have 5 goats in this first class, 73 pounds to 83 pounds. Our market goat sponsor today is Tolliver Ford. We appreciate their sponsorship, and don't forget our platinum sponsors we've talked about every day. Try to mention them 2 or 3 times. Farm Bureau of Wood County, Potts Feed Store, People's Communication.
Great class to get us started. Here in our goat show, you never know what you're going to get into with the class 1 and what to expect. But I tell you, quality animals here from end to end. And, if this red goat was just a little shallower chested, a little rounder ribbed, I tell you, that's one I can lock onto all day long. That one's elevated at the shoulder. That one's smooth in terms of how that blade lays in. Really neat and tidy up through his neck. That one square made, transitionally gets wider from those blades out to that tail set. Really good curvature and flare out the back side of that hip. Nice one there to lead us off. Close call here between 2 and 3. I think you can see both of those are very similar made just in terms of what they offer. I think both of those are possibly a little rounder ribbed than our class winner. Maybe a little bit stouter in terms of feature whenever we analyze them. However, we don't handle with that crispness. We don't have as much hip shape out of either of those as our class winner. I think the young man winds up in 2 is the one that's a little bolder in terms of muscularity, especially in terms of that rack edge and over those loin edges. I'd like to give that one a little more shapely hip. I'd like to smooth that one up a little through its front end. One that comes in next is possibly the most rugged and stout made in terms of feature at the ground. Another one, I like how that shoulder blade lays into the side of that body cavity. Really tidy in terms of how that chest turns out. But we study that when we want to pinch a little in our tail set, be a little flatter in terms of stifle. Not quite as clean in how we tie together right over those blades. Plenty of muscle there, needs to be squared up and firmed up to run at the 2 that are above. Get into 1 here in 4 that's just a little flatter in terms of body, ultimately a little narrower at the ground, a little less muscle up high. You study that one just in terms of lines. That one's put together really neatly. We just got to have more product. Similar story for the one that winds out our class, just plainer in terms of body. Not as much muscle. We've got to pack some muscle on the top side of that skeleton. That one needs to track just a little wider as it goes away. Good class. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Gann. Our Brian Tolliver Ford Equipment Texas class winners. 5th place, Kaylee Wilt of Mineola. 4th place, Brylan Campbell, Equipment FFA. 3rd place, Lou Berry from the Hawkins FFA. 2nd place, Connor Seaton from Alba Golden. And your class winner is Daniel Kearns from the Equipment FFA. We'll now have our Class 2 market goats, 6 entries. Goats weighing 84 to 93 pounds. If you've just now joined us for our Market Goat Show, we're in our 2nd class. And we introduced him a little bit earlier today for the evaluated our Market Lamb Show with Mr. Mike Gann from Meridian, Texas. Was a retired ag teacher. He's now retired from being a retired ag teacher. I don't know who does that anymore, but that's such a thing. But he's been around the sheep and goat business a long time and evaluated a lot of animals, had a lot of these animals in majors with his own personal kids and students. And so he'll be evaluating also our Market Goat Show throughout the day. Following our Market Goat Show, I believe we have a pretty decent break. At 5 o'clock, we'll have our commercial heifer show, followed by the steer show.
Another good class and close calls as we work our way through. And I think the one that leads us off, again, as you've heard me say, is just kind of the combination animal. I think that one stays collected in motion. I like that smoothness up front. That's got the best touch and best handle as we go down its top side and transitions into a big shapely hip. I think that's a nice complete one there to lead us off. Another one that catches your eye just in terms of how he moves and being elegant up through that front and really being cocky about how he carries himself. So one that winds up in second. This guy is a bit stouter in terms of foot and bone in comparison to our class winner, but we study that one. We're not quite as smooth out of our chest plate. We're a little rougher right there at the top side of those blades. Love how wide that one is, especially over that loin. I'd give him a shot more muscle through that stifle to run at that class winner. One that just runs out of gas is our painted doe kid. I tell you, this one's got as good a touch and handle as anything in the class in terms of rack and loin, but you study that one. We just run out of gas from behind. We're a little bit lower in our front, a little more moderate, I guess you'd say, just in overall frame size, but touch and handle good as any in the class. One that comes in next, the rear 2/3, you kind of lock into. Big loin, big hip, big and stout at the ground, tracks wide. That one needs to be changed a bit in terms of front end construction. We want to tie that neck in a little bit low, be a little dumpy in terms of that chest plate, not as smooth over those blades. But man, what a big loin and big hipped one there to wind up in 4. One that comes in next is another one that's just a little bit narrower constructed. You really like the top lines. You like how it ties together smoothly up through its front. Ultimately, it's just a little flatter bodied, narrower at the ground, narrower in terms of muscularity down the top side. Similar story for the one that comes in next. I think this is the one that's just the lightest in terms of muscularity and foot and bone in this particular class. We got to open that one up from end to end, give it more muscle to pack onto that really good look that it has from the side. Nice class. Congratulations.
Thank you. Your Brian Tolliver Ford Equipment Texas class winners. Braley Bevel, Mineola FFA, 6th place. 5th place, Victoria Holman, Winsboro FFA. 4th place, Arabella Rushing from the Hawkins FFA. 3rd place, J.C. Slocum, Alba Golden FFA. 2nd place, Regan Roddick from Equipment FFA. And your class winner is Sarah Crow from Hawkins FFA. Now ready for class 3. We have 7 entries. Goats weighing 97 to 99 pounds.
lots of quality here in this particular class, and certainly the ones that rise to the top again. I think the first place one here is just the one that ties the most things together. I think that one stays smoother and right there over those blades. Maybe could be just a nickel rounder in terms of that rib shape to give it that added dimension off at the 3/4. That one's wide at the ground, big and shapely back and hip. Good place to start. I think another one that's got a really good touch and handle down its top side winds up in 2. Study this one. We want to be a little critical, maybe a little rounder at the front side of that shoulder. Maybe we'd work on that one's pasterns angles just ever so slightly, but that's a very nice one to wind up in the second place hole. Another big back, big loin one comes in next. Whenever we study this one in motion, that's where that one wants to be a little bolder through its front, a little more exposed out of that chest plate. This one could use a shot more stifle shape to run at the 2 that are ahead. Really, really good looking one comes in next, man. That's a good bodied one, cool chested, ties together extremely smooth up through its front. I just got to have more product and more power to run at the 3 ahead, but I sure like how that one's constructed in its basic build. Next one that comes in just gets a little bolder and rougher through its front. I think that one's got some muscle. Maybe we could square that one up just a bit in terms of that muscle texture and tone, but that's a neat one right there. Rear 2/3 of that one's pretty neat. One that comes in next is one of those stories where we're just not handling quite as good down our top. There's a little less muscle, a little rounder made, but another good bodied one, another good hipped one that gets around the ring with some freedom and ease. Got to have more product. Little plainer package is the one that rounds us out. That one wants to be a little rounder through his front, a little rounder out of that hip. We've got some product, we've got some muscle. Got to square that dude up a bit from end to end. Good class.
Your Brian Tolliver 4 class winners. Class 3, Market Goats, 7th place, Wyatt Jackson, Winsboro FFA. 6th place, Jeremiah Jackson, Winsboro FFA. 5th place, Braxton Holcomb, Hawkins FFA. 4th place, Reagan Watson, Quitman FFA. 3rd place, Cheyenne Thornburg, Hawkins FFA. 2nd place, J.C. Smith from the Hawkins FFA. And your class winners, Ryder Conover, Hawkins FFA. All right, we'll now have our Class 4 Market Goats. Looks like we have 5 entries, 101 to 105. Actually, there's 6 entries. Again, 101 to 105 is our weights on our Class 4 Market Goats.
interesting class to sort. Not going to say it's the best class we've seen, but I'm going to say it's the most competitive class that we've seen, just because of the goods and the little holes as we work our way through them, especially in these top few 3 or 4, because I think there's some really, really good positives, and then we find that hole or two, and you struggle piecing that together sometimes. And I think the one that leads us off, again, just stays smooth in terms of shoulder construction, really good to the touch, really big out of that hip, long through that stifle plane. I think that one stays elevated. That's a nice one there to ultimately end up leading us off. We've got one that you really like, again, that front end construction, cool and clean out of that chest, ties together up high, naturally elevated, really neat how that body shape and underline ties together. That one gets a little piecey for me right there over that loin edge. Not quite as bold in terms of stifle to stifle. Ultimately just a little lighter in terms of bone work down low, but I think that's a really neat one. When this one's propped up from the side that winds up in 3, I tell you that one's got a really neat look to it. You love that added stoutness of feature, really big and bold at the ground. I think that one transitions good in terms of lines. We study that one. That one's a little rounder and bolder out of that shoulder, maybe a little wider when you're right on top of it in terms of how those blades tie together up high. That one's got some muscle. That's a neat one there to wind up in 3. Really, really good looking one, well presented, winds up in 4. Another one, ultra smooth, dead level down its top. Got some dimension in its body, not quite as tidy through that chest floor as the ones that are above. Ultimately, that one just runs out of shape when we get right behind it. Got to have more muscle going away. Certainly could run up a place or 2. Next one comes in, another one that's product oriented, big and bold in terms of back shape and hip shape. Study that one. We're not as smooth in how we tie together down our top. We're bolder and rounder out of that front. Change how that neck comes in just ever so slightly. But if you wanted one with product, give up a little balance and look, that could be your guy as well. Bigger statured, bigger outline goat here that winds us out. You love how level that one is down its top. Super smooth and how those joints tie together. Analyze that one. We're narrower at the ground, so ultimately flatter in terms of rib shape and body. Flatter and plainer in terms of muscularity. So a really good class, interesting to sort. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Gann. Brian Tolliver, class winners. 6th place, Abigail Jura from Winsboro. 5th place, Henley Baker, Hawkins FFA. 4th place, Brent Beauclair, Quitman FFA. 3rd place, Riley Russell, Quitman FFA. 2nd place, Emma Harley from the Mineola FFA. And your class winner is Avery Turrentine from Hawkins FFA. We'll now bring in class 5. Goats weighing 107 to 111 pounds.
Good class again, as we've said, and I think we lock into one to lead us off. It's a little different. Just you study that one, you question if that one's maybe a little too moderate to be at this stage of the game, but then you get your hands on it and you get that look off from the profile. I tell you, that one just ties a lot of things in really, really good. Like the body shape, a back so wide you can barely get your hand across it, equally as big and thick out of that hip. I think gets around the ring and stays together very well. Nice one there to lead us off. The one that comes in next, you like the touch and tone down its top side, square made from end to end. Study that one. We're a little narrower going away, so ultimately a little less shapely in terms of stifle dimension. We've got a little bit of a headlight protruding out the front side of that one. Skeleton, but one that's certainly stout and opened up, coming at you with a really good touch. Really neat built one comes in next. Another one of those good bodied ones that you like that chest to flank line, you like that top line. This one's stout at the ground, but when we get our hands on that one, we're softer to the touch. We want to be a little lazy at times in our spine as we ask that one to go. We're not quite as big and shapely out of our hip to match up with how big we are down the top side. One that comes in next wants to just be a little shorter, a little rounder on both ends. This one too has quite a bit of muscle down its top, but when we get rounder and flatter out of that hip, that's a deciding factor there in comparison to the one that's in 3. Bigger, taller outline sheep. You love the elevation, ultra clean in that front end and extension and elevated. You like those things about that guy. When we study that one, there's just not enough product from end to end. We've got to be square made. We've got to have some thickness. Certainly we could take that pretty and run up a couple of spots in this class. Good class again. Congratulate them if you will.
Class 5 winners, 5th place, Evan Medina, Quitman FFA. 4th place, Rayleigh Holcomb, Hawkins FFA. 3rd place, Kinsey Fortner, Quitman FFA. 2nd place, Becca Jordan, Hawkins FFA. And your class winner is Carly Parrott from the Hawkins FFA. We'll now bring our last class, our heavyweight, Class 6, Market Goats, 112 to 120 pounds. After that, we'll bring our first place class winners in. If you were able to watch the Lamb show, we'll kind of do it the same way. We'll bring our class winners, line them up, and then we'll bring our second place winners in. Those will be in contention for our reserve champion. Following that, we'll do our sale order. And then we'll have our junior, intermediate, and senior showmanship.
again, competitive as we work our way down through these heavy weights. For them to stay together as well as these guys have is pretty impressive. One that leads us off, again, that's the good-bodied one, the cooler-made one from the side, stays collected and gathered extremely well. I like the touch and texture of that one's muscle from end to end. I was a little critical on that, and I'd like to see that one maybe a little stouter featured, maybe a little wider as it goes away and takes that step. But he's not bad there, just a little narrower than I would prefer. One that comes in next, not quite as tidy and neat up through his front end as our class winner was. I think this one has plenty of muscle and quality down its top side. That one wants to be a little rougher right there at the hip loin. Love the stoutness, love the base width of that one. Very close pair there at the top. Get into this next one. That one drives and props up, extremely attractive. Not as round-bodied as the ones that are ahead, but not deep and flat. I think that one stays collected in terms of lines. Another stout one. Study that one. That shoulder's a little forward in that guy. That one's just a little bit different in terms of how that neck ties in, maybe a little thicker in terms of that neck, but a really square-made one down its top side. One that comes in next just wants to bunch up a little bit. That one's a little plainer in terms of touch, wants to roll a little over his rack, roll a little over at loin edge. That guy's got to square up for me down his top side to run at the ones ahead. Really well built one, rounds us out. Really smooth, really elevated, good in terms of lines and body. That one's just a little bit narrower as it goes away. Ultimately, for a heavyweight, we've got to have more punch and product to run at the ones ahead. Congratulations.
15, I think. I'm not sure though. That's still water. I probably placed just about all of them.
Your Brian Tolliver, Ford Equipment, Texas, class winners. 5th place, J.C. Slocum, Alba Golden FFA. 4th place, Kinley Childress, Hawkins FFA. 3rd place, Jersey Pruitt, Hawkins FFA. 2nd place, Addison Turrentine, Hawkins FFA. And your class winner is Blaine Crow from the Hawkins FFA. We'll now bring our class winners in for the selection of our grand champion, Market Goat. 6 class winners. Once we get them lined up in a profile view, then we'll bring in our 2nd place winners behind them, and they will be in contention for our reserve champion. Following that, we'll line them up and we'll have our sale order. I need to get an official count on how many we will sell 16. Obviously, we will select more than that for alternates if we have doubles and other species where we may have doubled up. So Mr. Mike Gann is now selecting our grand champion, Market Goat.
really pleased with our lineup as we bring those first and seconds out in contention for Grand and Reserve, and a ton of quality, and some of the kiddos even placing third and lower in class had projects they should certainly be proud of, because it was a very competitive goat show. And you know, when you analyze these from classes 1 through 6, I think you could land on any of them and at the end of the day be convinced you've done the right thing, because there's so many good parts and pieces and so few holes in these that are up here toward the top. I commend the kids, and I appreciate them bringing me such a good set. Had to scratch my head and really think several times here throughout the goat show, and you know, just in where we needed to put that emphasis and roll. But a good goat show from top to bottom. Give all the goat exhibitors a big round of applause, and I'll show you the one I like best.
Your grand champion out of Class 6 is Blaine Crow from the Hawkins FFA. Congratulations, Blaine. We'll now bring our second place out of Class 6 for our reserve champion selection. Once we select the reserve, we need everybody to stay right where you are. Don't move. We'll work through our sale order after that.
Roll that second up. Certainly doesn't weaken our lineup or make it any less difficult to find that second best one. But when we analyze these things, I think there's one that just stays ultra smooth, big and bold and powerful. Big and bold in terms of body shape and dimension. Not exactly my kind by any means, but I think just in terms of being smooth, we can get over this dude being a little bit moderate. One out of that next to last class is your second best. Congratulations.
Reserve champion comes out of Class 5, Carly Parrott from the Hawkins FFA. Congratulations. All right, we'll move up the empty sale spot for the holes there, and then we'll bring in our other placings in for our sale order. We're going to be selling 16. Obviously, we will have some alternates there. Mr. Bird, do you know, will we pull the doubles out now, or are you going to? You don't know. Okay. Be close to him when he gets ready to go. You get close to him if you don't mind. What'd you say? As Mr. Gann selects you in our sale order, we're going to ask you to kind of exit towards the front over there by the judges and check in with Nick right there and get, he'll have your name. I believe we have a card at somewhere that you guys need for your picture. Mason has it over there. Great. That's a way to be organized. Thank you to our junior board for helping us out. You bet. You bet. Don't be scared. You've been out here working all week. Of course, the good news for them is they haven't had to be at school, so they're pretty excited about that too. So Mr. Gann. Well, we got a few more here. I'm trying to look. Just so I don't mess up, we're going to wait until Nick brings me the final sale order, and I will announce that after we're done. And don't forget, right after this, we'll have our junior showmanship. All right, I believe that's quite a few. I think that'll complete our sale order. Congratulations to our market goat. Thank you, Mr. Gann, for evaluating our market goats. We're not going to let him go yet. He's going to evaluate our showman this time, and we'll start with our junior showmanship. As soon as we get the arena clear, we're going to need you to line up. We're going to need juniors first, grades 3 through 5, followed by our intermediate, grades 6 through 8, and then our seniors.
Do what? Oh.
Great set of kids come back in for our junior showmanship division, and again, lots of good things going on. But I tell you, there's one just with the presence from the time they came in till the time I picked up the mic, just did a phenomenal job. You know, just for a junior showman to have that awareness and that presence and to get things done in a timely manner and just stay cool and stay calm and stay collected, they're hard to find, guys. And I tell you, there's one out here that did things extremely good for me from start to finish. Big kid decisions, like gets it propped up, everything's perfect. We realize we're crowded. We circle out, give ourselves more room to work. get back on the front of that animal and just prop it up and get it going again. If I had to say one thing I'd change, I'd just like to see her be a little more aware of those rear legs on that animal, because that's about the only hole you can find in her. I guarantee you she runs with lots of seniors up and down the road. Young lady in the blue, second from the right, great job.
Your junior champion, Riley Russell from the Equipment FFA. Congratulations, Riley. It's now time for our intermediate showmanship. Grades 6 through 8. We'll select our Brian Tolliver of Ford Equipment, Texas, intermediate showman.
good group here in our intermediate showman, and maybe this bunch a little fidgety at times for me, but I tell you, just in terms of fundamentals and basics, I think they all do a really good job, and certainly some competitiveness there when we talk about a few things they could have done differently throughout the drive, and how they handled things, but then also handling those problems or things we may have missed is part of the deal too, to get it done efficiently and get them propped back up. I think there's one that maybe just looks ever so slightly more comfortable on the front end, maybe gives me a little bit better look and smoothness whenever we go in for that front view. At times, all of these kiddos got feet and legs out of place at times, and I think that's where maybe we had a little hole that makes it an issue, and I think maybe the animal jumped and flinched a time or two, but again, that's part of the game because we got to get them fixed efficiently. But I think the smooth one has to win. Young lady in yellow, congratulations.
Sarah Crow is your Brian Tolliver Ford Intermediate Showman Champion. Thank you. I think Sarah's from Hawkins, Texas. Is that correct? She is from Hawkins. All right, it's time for our seniors. As we get our seniors in, I'm going to call out the unofficial sale order. We sell 16 was the number. So here it is. Grand champion, of course, number 1 in the sale order will be Blaine Crow. Reserve champion, Carly Parrott. 3rd overall, Addison Turrentine. 4th, Ryder Conover. 5th, Avery Turrentine. 6th, J.C. Smith, I believe is the name. 7th, Daniel Kearns. 8th, Sarah Crow. 9th, Becca Jordan. 10th, Connor Seaton. 11th, Jersey Pruitt. 12th, Emma Harley. 13th, Riley Russell. 14th, Kenzie Fortner. 15th, Regan Roddick. 16th, Bryn Beauclair. 17th, J.C. Slocum. 18th, Henley Baker. 19th, Kenley Childress. And 20th is Cheyenne Thornburg. And again, some of the alternates could potentially move up. That is your unofficial sale order for your market goats. We're now evaluating our senior showmen. And before we let them get out of the ring, ladies and gentlemen, I want you one more time to thank our judge, Mr. Mike Gann from Meridian, Texas, for an outstanding job today. Working our youth here in Wood County and evaluating our animals. After we finish this, we'll have a pretty sizable break. We will have official start time for our commercial heifer show is 5 o'clock, followed by our steer show.
Mr. Reynolds said I had till 5 o'clock, so we might as well have a little fun. All right. Because now we can't copy what the person beside us is doing because I'm getting a different look off every animal, in case you're wondering.
If you just joined us, we're doing our senior showmanship. I think something very unique here. What started out as what may have looked like a train wreck has turned into organized chaos.
Tell you what, this was a really exceptional set of seniors, and I knew that when they walked in. You know, these guys just really get it done. If we're just going to prop them up and have a contest showing goats, man, that gets really tough. We got to make them think a little bit. I'm not a question asker. I don't think we discussed that in any of the other drives. I like all that information these kids need to know, but in my opinion, that's another contest, because at the end of the day, when we're going to slap a grand at the end of the drive, I'm not going to ask them what % protein that goat's eating. So we've got to get them propped up. We got to get them presented. Exceptional job again. I tell you, I think the 4 that stayed with me were the ones I didn't catch making as many mistakes once we played our little game. I enjoy doing this every once in a while, and when I looked up and saw there was 12, I was like, oh, here we go. So, again, thanks for staying with me. I knew we had a little extra time. I don't have to be anywhere until 6 this evening. So, again, last time I'm picking up the mic, guys, I appreciate the invitation. I loved working with your young people. End it with a really exceptional set of goat showmen that I think could run up and down the road and win showmanship contests. If you'll give all the goat exhibitors that one more round of applause, I'm looking again, and I'll name you champion.
Your champion senior showman is Blaine Crow from the Hawkins FFA. Congratulations, Blaine. Congratulations to all of our market goat exhibitors. Thank you, Mr. Gann, for a job well done. Appreciate you. And that concludes our market goat show. And we'll see you guys back here at 5 o'clock for the commercial heifer show. And then we'll move into our steer show.